20 years ago, a young woman named Serenity stood on a bridge, gazing out at the violent waves of the ocean below, trusting the woman who had raised her. The same woman who had been a mother figure to her after her father's death. But in one single violent moment, that trust was shattered as the woman's hands pushed her into the dark, churning waters. That day, Serenity was left for dead. Today, the same woman walks through the city streets, alive, transformed and ready to collect a debt that has been growing for 20 long years. This is her story. Serenity was only 19 when her world came crashing down. Her father had died 3 years earlier, leaving her to the care of his second wife, Naima, a woman she had known since she was just 12. For 7 years, Naima had played the part of a loving stepmother, cooking Serenity's favorite meals, braiding her hair, helping her with applications for university, and guiding her with kindness. But behind the carefully constructed persona, a darker, more selfish nature lurked, a nature driven by one thing: money. Her father had been wealthy, owning 3 buildings in the heart of the city, a construction company that brought in millions every year, and a well-established name in the community. Serenity had no idea how much her inheritance would mean until the day her father's will was read. He had left everything to her, his only daughter, with Naima serving as her guardian until Serenity turned 21. With only 2 more years of control, Naima's patience had worn thin. Serenity had yet to know how much her life, and the life of her stepmother, would change in those 2 years. That fateful Tuesday started like any other. Serenity awoke to the smell of pancakes, the warm sound of her stepmother humming in the kitchen, and the soft sunlight filtering through the window. Everything seemed normal, but something about Naima's movements felt off. Her usually relaxed demeanor was stiff, her smiles too wide, too deliberate. When she suggested they take a drive to visit Serenity's aunt in the neighboring city, there was a strange chill that ran through Serenity's body. Still, she brushed it off, trusting Naima, the woman who had raised her, loved her, and guided her through life. The drive began with casual conversation, talking about Serenity's upcoming birthday, her plans for the future, and even her new boyfriend. But when they approached the lagoon bridge, Serenity noticed Naima's grip tightening on the steering wheel, her knuckles turning white. Naima suddenly pulled over, claiming that the car was making strange noises. Serenity was suspicious, but followed Naima out of the car, stepping into the harsh ocean wind as it whipped around them. Cars zoomed past them on the busy expressway, the sound of the ocean below now louder than before. As they stood at the edge of the bridge, Serenity felt that same strange chill creeping down her spine, but she pushed it aside. Naima moved behind her without warning. Time seemed to slow as Serenity took in the view of the dark, churning waters below, and then Naima's voice, cold and biting, cut through the air. "You think you deserve everything your father worked for, don't you? You think that just because you share his blood, you're somehow better than me. But I've built this life too, and I sacrificed too much. I won't let you take it from me." Before Serenity could even comprehend the venom in those words, she felt the sharp push, a forceful blow to her back. In an instant she was falling, the bridge shrinking above her, the dark water rushing up to meet her. Her last image as she plummeted was of Naima's face twisted in satisfaction, watching her fall. The ocean was merciless. The current dragged Serenity under, filling her lungs with salt water as she fought to reach the surface. Her strength was fleeting, and as the cold darkness closed in around her, she thought about her father. Would she ever see him again? But fate had other plans. She woke up 3 days later, disoriented and gasping, in a small fishing village on the shores of the sea. The sound of coughing echoed off the walls of a modest hut. An old fisherman named Papa Okoje had found her body floating near his nets, barely clinging to life. His wife, Mama Okoje, who had lost her own daughter many years before, took one look at Serenity and saw an angel sent from the heavens. They took her in, nursing her back to health as if she were their own. But Serenity, who had washed ashore, was not the same woman who had fallen from that bridge. She told the couple that she couldn't remember who she was, not even her name. They called her Lila, meaning new journey, hoping to give her good fortune and fresh starts. But what they didn't know was that Serenity remembered everything. The fall, the betrayal, the cruel twist of fate that had taken everything from her. She wasn't ready to return to her old life yet. She wasn't ready to confront the woman who had tried to kill her. For 5 long years, Serenity lived in the village, helping Papa Okoje with his fishing business, learning the value of hard work and embracing a simpler life. But every night Naima haunted her thoughts. Serenity wondered how Naima had spun the tale of her disappearance, what lies she told to cover her tracks. She imagined Naima living in the lap of luxury, using the money that rightfully belonged to her, while Serenity struggled to rebuild her life from nothing. During the day, Serenity started making quiet inquiries. She uncovered that Naima had reported her missing and even claimed that she had been kidnapped during their drive. The police searched high and low for weeks, but nothing came of it. Eventually, Serenity was declared dead, and Naima inherited everything. To add insult to injury, Naima held a lavish funeral for Serenity, crying dramatically as she buried an empty coffin. Serenity's grief began to morph into something much darker, something that would soon grow into a need for revenge. By her 7th year in the village, Serenity had saved enough money and learned enough about property law and inheritance rights to begin building a plan. She hired a private investigator to track down Naima's activities, and what he discovered shocked her. Naima had not only seized the family business, but had also sold 2 of the buildings and was living a lavish lifestyle with a new, younger boyfriend. The parties were extravagant, the wealth unearned, and the lies were endless. Worse, Naima had completely erased Serenity from her past. The pictures of Serenity were gone, her room replaced with gym equipment. Serenity had been written off as an ungrateful child who had stolen from the family. This lie, which Naima spread, destroyed Serenity's reputation, leaving a trail of falsehoods that painted her as a thief. Fueled by the rage inside her, Serenity began to carefully plan her return. For 3 years she worked in the shadows, honing her skills in business management, studying financial fraud, and gathering evidence against Naima. She discovered that Naima was involved in multiple illegal activities, including forging documents, laundering money, and cheating the government on taxes. Serenity also learned that Naima had been married twice before her father. Both husbands had died under mysterious circumstances, and both had left Naima everything. The police had investigated both deaths, but with no solid evidence, Naima walked free. This revelation changed everything for Serenity. She wasn't just looking for revenge anymore. She was hunting a predator. Naima wasn't just a thief, she was a murderer. With this new information, Serenity's plan shifted into full gear. She connected with the families of Naima's previous husbands and shared the evidence. Together they began building a case that not only proved Serenity's inheritance had been stolen, but also that Naima had a history of murder. The woman who had raised Serenity wasn't just a betrayer. She was a serial killer. As Serenity's 15th year in exile came to a close, she felt that she was finally ready. Her construction company was growing. She had acquired all the evidence she needed. She had allies who were waiting for this moment. The girl who had fallen from the bridge was now someone else entirely. The woman who had emerged from the ocean was strong, independent, and ready to reclaim what was rightfully hers. On the 20th anniversary of the day she had been thrown into the sea, Serenity walked into Naima's corporate office. She was calm, composed, carrying a briefcase filled with years of damning evidence. Naima, sitting behind her oversized desk, glanced up only once, dismissing Serenity like just another insignificant small business owner. Serenity placed a photograph on the desk. Naima's eyes immediately went wide with shock, and the phone slipped from her hand. Serenity smiled. "Hello, Naima, did you miss me?" For a moment, Naima said nothing. Her face flashed through several emotions: shock, confusion, and finally rage. "You're dead," Naima stammered. "I watched you drown. There's no way you could have survived that fall." "I did survive," Serenity replied, her voice cold. "But the real question is, will you survive what's coming next?" Naima's composure shattered completely. She tried to call security, but it was too late. Police sirens were heard outside the building, and Serenity calmly stated, "I called them an hour ago. They're coming for you. Fraud, tax evasion, and 3 counts of murder." Naima slumped in her chair, eyes wide in horror. The truth had finally caught up to her. Serenity didn't want her money. She didn't need it. She wanted justice. Naima stared at Serenity, her empire crumbling before her. "You think you've won? You've destroyed your own life, too. No family, no friends, no future. Was it worth it? Serenity's response was calm but filled with a quiet certainty. You're wrong about one thing. I didn't destroy my life. I found it. And yes, the 20 years of purpose were worth it. In that moment, Serenity understood something profound. It wasn't just about revenge. It was about the peace she had found in herself, in her new life. She had reclaimed everything she had lost. Justice had been served, not just for herself, but for the many others who had suffered at Naima's hands. As the police entered the office, Naima's world collapsed. Serenity stood tall, knowing that her purpose had been fulfilled. Thank you so much for watching this story till the end, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If Serenity's story resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more stories of strength, justice, and resilience to the world. Let me know in the comments section what you think, and if you have any suggestions or something to say, feel free to write it down there. I always read everyone. I would also like to know if you guys want to see part 2 of this story. Comment section is always open for you. Share this with friends who need a reminder that no matter how dark the journey, redemption is always within reach. Together we can inspire change.